Hey guys, Nomus RC, look what we got today. I went out and got myself an Ioniq 5. They're actually a pretty mean looking, they call it an SUV. To me, it's a hatchback. It's a little bit bigger than obviously like a Golf or something like that, but it is still just a hatchback. So kind of cool. You know, a lot of the features are really, really neat. Um, the door handles pop out like that for you to access it. Even when you walk up to the vehicle, I had already previously been up to it, but they would just open automatically so that you can open the door and it unlocks for you and all that good stuff. Here's the vehicle itself. Pretty nice. Very nice trim and interior and stuff like that. Two big 13-inch screens. You do have to step on the brake and hit this to start the vehicle. But if you just want to turn on your accessories, you can just hit the button and it'll turn on all your accessories. Go ahead and say confirm. Here's our standard screens. You can go into dark mode, you know, or you can set it to dark mode all the time, or you can set it to light mode all the time. I actually like the white. The reason I don't drive with it at white, obviously at night, is because it freaking blinds you. So I tell it to do automatic dark mode and light mode. Here's our steering wheel with all of its features. We do have lane assist is pretty much always on. You can see right there. We have a couple other things on the display. This is actually for, assisted driving, right? Assisted steering wheel driving. These are your features over here for voice and all that kind of stuff. It has a really, really good, you know, I've had GPS systems before, navigation systems built into automobiles. They're always complete garbage and you have to use your phone. Now this does do Android Auto and Apple Play. Great, wonderful. And I do use that, but it's also nice to have a really, really good built-in nav system. I mean, this thing works for all your voice commands. It works well. So even if you don't want to hook up Android Auto or Apple Play, like you have a fully working navigation system. And the reason that I like that the navigation system is built into the car is because it gets its own information from that navigation system for your main speedometer control. So like you have a speed limit sign here, right? Android Auto does not put that speed limit sign there. That's the navigation system. So every road that you're on, it'll show you what speed limit that it is and things like that. So let's go over the steering wheel a little bit more. These buttons and switches right here, you can actually go up and down, right? Like this to switch things on the display. So that's tire pressure. And then this is how much juice is going to each tire, right? How much power it's sending to each tire. And then you can also, so right now we're in normal mode, right? We can go to sport mode and it's really cool. Like it changes and it gives you these nice red accents, right? And then this is eco mode. So eco mode's really, really funny because you can completely floor the vehicle and it's super, you know, poochy. I would say it probably feels like 150 horsepower, you know, in eco mode when you floor it. Still feels like an all-wheel drive and a little bit of pull, right? But it's very, very limited. Normal mode will still smack your head into the headrest a little bit, right? And then it gives you a little bit nicer looking stuff here. And then sport mode will just slam your head into the back of the seat constantly over and over. And when you're holding the steering wheel, it's not as bad, right? But when you're a passenger, right, you just get nailed into the seat just constantly. It's very, very forceful, very fun. It will put a smile on your face every single time that you do it. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's so fun. So these paddle shifters right here will actually engage what I call drag brake because I'm a radio control guy. But it's adaptive braking that will actually, as it does braking, you can see there's a CHG right here. It'll charge your battery. So this will go up when you're giving it throttle and it'll show how much power you're, you know, doing. And then when you let off the throttle, it'll automatically brake and it'll charge your battery system. Now you can shut that completely off, or you can turn it to a level that is so high that it will even, if you let off the throttle, it'll brake and it'll come to a full stop and stop. It's called iPedal, and it makes it so that you can just one pedal drive. All you ever need is a throttle. You almost never have to touch the brakes. Now, the key thing about this, guys, the key thing about this is it's using the motor to brake, which is totally fine. It's not going to wear the motor. It's done with electricity and magnets, right? It's like a drag brake on an RC car, right? But what it will do is it's not using your brake pads, right? So what it will do is make your brake pads last for frickin' ever. I've seen people report 120, 140,000 miles without replacing their brake pads. This is an electric vehicle, guys. You have zero maintenance, and even the things that you do maintain are hardly used, right? Some of the other things that this thing can do, obviously you have a media system. You can hook up Bluetooth to your phone. You have your default screen that's going to show like your battery level, how many miles that you have left, etc. You have a home button, that will bring you to this screen. So we can go ahead and plug in our Android Auto. It'll automatically pop up and start showing us, hey, Android Auto is available. We can hit our home button, right? And now this is an available button. It wasn't here before. Android Auto. You can go ahead and pull that up, right? You're going to have whatever radio station that you were listening to. You're going to have your GPS navigation, which I like to keep it on satellite because it looks freaking amazing. I mean, look at that. Anybody that sees that is always like, why does yours look so amazing? It's literally just a setting. I just tell it to use satellite, right? Because you can turn it off and make it normal, right? But anyway, so you got all your normal amenities to Android Auto, right? And it'll actually even do an additional third screen split. If I get a text message or something like this, the music will shrink down and it'll give me an even smaller window right here with whatever text message. And I can click, play the text as audio so that I can listen to it and not have to read it. So all the normal amenities that you have with Android Auto, right? Amazing. So let's go ahead and give this thing a rip on the highway and play with some of the really cool features. And then we'll kind of give a overall of the vehicle. We're going to go ahead and test the self-drive on this vehicle and see how it does. We're set at the laser guided cruise control at 75 miles an hour, right? We got the lane assist on right there, and then we have the steering assist on right here. So this is as much as auto drive as this particular vehicle can do. It will scream at you every now and again to put your hands back on the wheel, right? But let's go ahead and see what it does. So there's somebody passing me on the right. It's turning to the left a little bit. It's going to keep this curve right here. It's telling me to put my hands on the steering wheel, so I do have to put my hand there for a second, and then we can remove it, right? So we're still doing 75. It's making adjustments. It's doing very well. Okay, we got a right turn, so the road is going to start curving to the right. It's probably going to complain at me again, yep. So it wants me to keep my hands on the wheel. And you have to, or else it can potentially disengage the driving. Very, very awesome, guys. Here's a nice amount of bumps. Good amount of bumps there. It's going to tell me to keep my hands on the wheel. We're going to re-grip it one more time. And then we're actually going to let it do its thing, and I'm going to see when it disengages what it exactly does. So I'm just going to keep my hands off of the wheel and let it disengage, and then I want to see what it does. So it's telling me now to put my hands back on the wheel. It hasn't disengaged yet. Now it's really complaining. Maybe it won't disengage. I don't know. Because technically, if you fell asleep or something and it disengaged, it's just going to make you wreck. I mean, inevitably, I guess at the end of the drive, you would wreck anyway. But, yep, there it went. So it canceled the HDA system. And now we can take back over. Very awesome, guys. Very cool system. All that you do is have your lane assist on, and then you press this button right here for the steering aid. and then it turns on the steering wheel, and then you set your laser guided cruise control, and you're all freaking set. All right, guys, we took it out and hauled ass all over the highway. It was super fun. We checked out some of the driver assistance and all that other kind of stuff. Adaptive cruise control, which I already had on the Genesis, a lot of these things. Lane assist, but then it actually has, you know, some driving assistance as well, not just lane assistance. Really, really happy with it. Freaking 19-inch tires, 255 wide. These are monsters. It actually grips insanely well because your battery has all that weight and it's down low, right? So weight distribution is just so good on electric cars. It is so good. And I think that that's honestly why they handle so well. But I am completely blown away with the Ioniq 5, guys. I mean, I cannot say enough about electric cars already, but I really, really enjoy the Ioniq 5. And then something additional that you're also going to get, right, is you have 800 volt charging. So you have the capability of using 350 kilowatt chargers that can take this thing from 20% to 80% in 18 minutes. So we can actually close the door right there with that button. So I actually took this thing, went ahead and took it to a charger just for the heck of it. And I put about 9 minutes of charge in it and gained about 100 miles. And that was only on a 150 kilowatt charger. I could do double that. So in 4 minutes, I could have had 100 miles. Now I actually timed myself in my Genesis. I had almost a quarter tank of gas. I went and filled it up completely full. It took me between messing with my card and paying, filling the tank, getting my receipt, getting back in the car. It took me 6.5 minutes to fuel a car. And I think that this is what people don't realize. Oh, you got to sit around and wait at charging stations. People wait when they fuel gas as well, right? It still takes you minutes. And this one doesn't take you much longer. And if you're only hitting it with 100 miles, maybe 50 miles, right? You can actually be in and out within 3 to 4 minutes and be done. So really, really cool, guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome vehicle. You'll probably see some more videos from me as I dig into this thing and learn more features. But for now, this was more just a once-over review and testing some of the features. As always, guys.